flare combo. And then the other guy comes out like with this intensity, like he's gonna smoke that shit and don't even come near it. Back in my days, a nigga would have known, oh, I can't fuck with that. I'm not gonna try to. You understand? Nowadays, a nigga will still go out there and front like he beat the guy, and then have the audacity to go, fuck out of here with that bullshit, nigga. If you don't know when you got lost, you don't know shit. Alright? That's the only beef I got seen today. Niggas just don't know when they got smoked. You know what I'm saying? Is breaking art or sport to you? It is everything to me. It is everything. People always complain, like when the breaking was gonna go to the Olympics, niggas was like, oh, they're trying to take from our culture and fuck out of here. For starters, some of y'all can't even say our culture. You know, if you ain't come where I come from and the time I come from, and the brothers before me, you can't even say our culture. You just a tag along. You know what I mean? Let's see if you still in this culture when you're 51 like I am. I'm 51 right now. I'm in the mix still to this day. You understand what I mean? I could call this my culture. You know? You can't take from hip-hop. Hip-hop is all absorbing. Hip-hop takes over everything. Hip-hop is the blob. For those that don't know, go out and look for that movie. They made a remake of it. Don't look for the color version. The color version is alright, but the black and white version, it looked like Jello, you know, almost. But it was alive, and as it walked, it absorbed everything around it. People, it just absorbed it. Because it didn't have no teeth, no mouth, no nothing. It was just a blob. You know, but this thing got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it starts like this, but by the end of the movie, it's humongous. It's eating up the whole town. You understand what I'm saying? That is fucking hip-hop. You don't take away from hip-hop. Niggas can't take away from hip-hop. Hip-hop is the blob. Hip-hop is just getting so big, it's absorbing everything. You know what I mean? We are the all-absorbing, you know, all-absorbing culture. You know what I'm saying? So it is everything. It is anything we want it to be. It can be art. I don't think of it as art. I see it as a way of destroying a nigga. You know what I mean? That tries to do anything I do. You know? I don't, it's art. It is sport. It is therapy. It is calisthenics. It is anything we want it to be. We have to open up our minds, people. We gotta stop closed-minded. Because if the niggas in the hood thought like this back in the days, none of y'all would even be breaking today. Alright? Think about that. If niggas back in the 70s started being afraid of being bigger than what they are, we wouldn't even be breaking. I wouldn't be doing this interview. You know what I mean? I'd be probably working at Roy Rogers, probably standing on a street corner selling drugs, or probably rotting in a cell. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. 7. What is your views on people in Asia learning about hip-hop, since we have such a different culture lifestyle here? Hip-hop was born in New York City, yet so many Asian people here trying to act like they are from the old school. And sometimes you hear these B-boys say that they are learning the old school style. So what are your thoughts about this? Is there such thing as an old school style? Yes, there is. But I just call that, again, I use the word traditionalists. You know, those cats that practice that, those are the ones that I call traditionalists. I think dressing up like a B-boy from the 70s or 80s makes you far from a B-boy. You know what I mean? Just because you put on some Lees, some Pro Cats, and a graffiti jacket with like colors on it and stuff like that, that don't make you a B-boy. In fact, B-boys set the pace, started the foundation. Not just for the dance, but B-boys started the foundation of what we call hip-hop fashion nowadays. You know, Fat Farm and FUBU and all these companies, they are all sticking to a formula that was created by the B-boy scene. You know, the original B-boys, they set the pace and started the foundation of what you call hip-hop fashion. So basically, if you're going to call yourself a B-boy, you got to either be ahead of the fashion, creating some shit, or at least mixing up and keeping up to par with the fashion of that day. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. You gotta be a fly cat. You know what I'm saying? I feel good. Pro Keds is my favorite sneaker in the whole wide world. It's comfortable. I don't feel fresh when I'm rocking a pair of Pro Keds. Maybe when I was 16 years old. But today, I'll feel fresh in the fucking Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not crazy about Jordan prices. You know, I'm just giving y'all an example. So, yeah, you got your traditionalists. Let them breathe. I always say the same thing. Let them do what they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Stop complaining about stuff. Stop complaining about contest niggas. And if you're gonna complain about contest niggas, then don't complain about it going to Olympic. Because you know what? That'll give the contest niggas some place to go and leave all of this here for us. Like, y'all stay over there. Yeah, go ahead, do that. So, you know, if a cat wants to be a traditionalist, hey, more power to it. That gives cats like me an opportunity to share. Because anybody who comes to an Alien-esque rec shop is somebody that wants to learn the quote-unquote old school styles and old school traditions, because that's all I teach. I don't teach Alien-esque. I teach breaking. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't believe that they should feel they are better or more realer than anybody else, you know, because they practice the traditional style, like learn the traditional style. You know, that's a little bit, you know, ignorant. You know, that's like university students and people with PhDs and MDs and all that stuff going through the hood arguing with ghetto kids that they don't have an education. You know, like, I got this, I got... That's how I see B-boys who, you know, like, dude, you act like your shit don't stink and you got your shit from somebody's workshop. You bought your shit, you know. Asia has a history, Japan mostly, but Asia in general has a history of latching on to stuff. When I was young, I used to use the word culture vulture. You know, I don't use that anymore, you know, because in that case, I would be a culture vulture, because I've evolved into something other than just a b-boy, you know. But you know, I'm keeping it traditional, like the scene that I'm a part of now. You know, I keep it traditional. So I stopped using the word culture vultures. But if you look at mostly Japan in the beginning, they were the main ones. But just Asia in general, they have that knack of latching on to certain subcultures, all right? Because at the end of the day, this isn't a culture, it's a subculture. Hip-hop is not a culture, you know? It's a subculture. We could talk about that another time. But there's certain things that a culture needs to have within it to be a culture. And there are things that hip-hop don't have. So we'll say subculture. They've latched on to subcultures, and they've been real about it. Like, I've been in Japan and see some, like, Japanese cats dressed like Mexican cholos from California, walk out of a spot and jump in some old 57 Impala and boom, make that sucker bounce in the whole 9 yards, and they got that whole community. And then I walked around the corner and walked into a bar to get some cigarettes, and boom, it was all cowboys, you know, and some Japanese nigga in a cowboy hat and boots up on stage singing to the best of ability, you know, some country western song, you know, like, they latch on to cultures, but when they latch on to cultures, they immerse themselves in it. You know, they live it. That's what makes what they do untouchable and some shit that we can't clown or talk or this, because they immerse themselves into it. And they actually live it, you know, like, I've spoken to them lowrider cats from Japan. They live that shit. Just because they not there at the source, you know what I'm saying, doesn't make them any faker, because I know motherfuckers that's from the source and they fake as shit. You know what I'm saying? They phony motherfuckers. So that's how come when it comes to breaking, I always tell everybody, you gotta go to the Bronx. That's part of the game. Go to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have to go with it. You're gonna immerse yourself in it. But I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know? What I do see is when they try to be better than somebody. That's like some Asian guy who's a mad traditionalist and learning the old school style, looking at El Nino and saying, "Oh,